Hello, everybody. This is Tom Eckert here. You're listening to my podcast, Numerology, a GPS for the soul. This is your place to learn about the true power of numerology and how to use it to bring out the best in yourself, understand your loved ones better, take wise decisions, and prepare for your future. In other words, how to live your life aligned with your true destiny. Take your time to educate yourself and share these podcasts with your friends and family so they too can enjoy the great benefits of numerology. Enjoy! Hello there, and welcome to all my listeners to yet another fascinating episode where we are gonna explore the difference between pop culture numerology versus in-depth numerology, a very important topic for those interested to strike the difference between valuable numerology that actually gives you insight that can change your life and numerology that simply gives you quick fixes that are, practically speaking, very often not true. But before we dive deep into this topic, if you are new to this podcast, well, welcome. In my podcast, we discuss in depth numerology as a path for inner transformation, spiritual growth, self knowledge. I personally attempt to make numerology accessible and applicable for everyday life matters, and I do my best to provide you with the most grounded information about numerology so that you can actually apply it in order to live a better life, more conscious, more aligned with your soul and with your true purpose. Now, I'm very excited to share with you that for the next week, I'm giving you, my beloved listeners, an end of the summer discount of 30% off for my self study numerology courses. And once you purchase them, you get them for life. Now, more about this discount at the end of this episode. So stay tuned. Now, here are just a few ways you can dive deeper into numerology should you wish to do so. You can book a numerology reading with me. In a reading, you can ask any question that is burning in your life and get precise answers tailored especially to you. You can read more about my readings and contact me directly through the link in the episode description. And if you want to study numerology on a deeper level or even pursue it as a career, many of my students do that, then check out my two study paths. One is the self-study numerology path, where I have two courses that give you the rare opportunity to learn numerology at your own pace, online, on your mobile device, your tablet, your laptop. My library currently contains two self-study courses and more coming up. And again, I'm giving a discount, which I will talk about at the end of the episode. If you want to be initiated into the rare depths of numerology, you can sign up to my complete path of certification, where you study directly with me all the way from a total beginner to a complete numerology expert, and you get certified along the way as a professional numerologist. So again, to read more about both study paths, just simply check out the links in the episode description. Now let's dive into today's topic. So there is a reason why many people out there think that numerology is a total hoax, a make-believe, a way to make use of gullible people in order to gain money and power. It is not only because it is rooted in non-scientific knowledge. That is one part. But another, and perhaps a more destructive part, is the way numerology is communicated, for the most part, in social media, newspapers, and even books. There's a huge tendency and maybe even trend to communicate numerology like some pop culture, easy solutions for life type of system. You simply give me your numbers and I will give you all the answers to your life. Easy and simple. I'll tell you whether you'll fail or succeed in your business. I'll tell you whether or not this relationship you're going into is good for you or not. I'll tell you whether the problems in your life are all a result of the house number you're living in. I will even tell you about your lucky days, and so on, whatever that means. Now, pop culture numerology is, for the most part, motivated by people's wish to become successful, popular, liked by the masses, to have more power, influence, to get attention, to appear like they can know everything and have control, and so on. That's the shadow side. In more rare cases, and you don't see much of that, it is a way to make the deep knowledge of numerology more accessible by using simple formulations without digging too deep. But again, that's the exception, unfortunately. So, this pop culture numerology has rightfully left many people feeling that this profound and age old science is a fraud and, plainly put, well, total nonsense. And that's why in depth numerology is so important and why more of us should let go of this pop culture numerology trend and move into in depth numerology. In depth numerology never gives any quick fixes, but focuses always on helping the person grow, gain sovereignty over their life, develop self responsibility and self authority, and make sure that the power stays in their hands. So let us dive deeper into the difference in strategies, one can say, between pop culture numerology and in depth numerology. Now, I will talk about each one separately and we'll then integrate it all. So, we're starting with pop culture numerology, first strategy. Now, one main characteristic of pop numerology is the tendency to offer promising statements that tend to be very black or white, but give people a sense of false promise, a false guarantee. One of them um, is lucky days or lucky numbers. As an example, some numerologists will say, for example, that everyone born on the 3rd of a month will have lucky days on the 3rd, the 12th, the 21st, and 30th of every month. Each of those numbers, right, end up being a 3 eventually. Some will even name specific days of the week. You are lucky on Monday, on Thursday, and Fridays, and you're less lucky on Tuesdays and Sundays, and so on. This is what I call magical thinking. First of all, nobody really asks themselves, what does lucky really mean? What do you mean when you tell me that I am lucky on the 12th of the month? Will I get what I desire? Will I earn more money? What does it even mean? Or if you tell me that on Tuesdays I'm less lucky, do you mean that I won't get all that I want? Is that actually an unlucky thing? Or if things don't go exactly the way I want them to, or there's a setback, is that unlucky? The simplistic focus on lucky and unlucky is a way of making people feel that there are simple answers to life's mystery and life's much more intelligent and wise ways. It creates a false notion of luck, but never cares to truly explain in what way is that even helpful. Don't forget that sometimes people think they want to be richer, more famous, etc. And when that happens, they become much more unhappy. So we're leaving a question mark here, a big question mark, on this whole notion of luck. Let's move on to the second strategy of the pop culture numerology. So we're staying on the same line of thought, right? So pop numerology puts the focus on externals. It's not you who makes the difference in your life, it's your house number. It's not you who needs to change your habits to succeed in your job, but it's your phone number that isn't right for you and is sabotaging your success. Perhaps even the number plate on your car is what's responsible for you being late. Definitely not you lacking self discipline, of course. In other words, pop numerology always makes you believe that the power to your success lies outside yourself, somewhere else, in a better house number, a better phone number, and not in you, not in your own self. Most people don't want to do the hard work it takes to grow up and take responsibility for their lives. And pop numerologists take advantage of that all the way. They give them simplistic answers that don't help them in the long run. They develop in people magical thinking instead and rob them of their true power. Of course, I'm not blaming just one side because it always takes two to tango. People always get what they look for. But making a person believe such things is really a good way of earning some quick bucks in, frankly speaking, simply dishonest ways, in my opinion, at least. And that leads me to the third strategy of pop culture neurology. So, first of all, I think you're starting to get the idea, right, of pop culture neurology. It sort of puts the focus a lot on externals and not on the person. Another example is excessive focus on stuff like angel numbers. Again, this reinforces magical thinking and excessive search for symbolism, even when it isn't supportive to the growth or maturation of the person whatsoever. The universe is indeed alive. I don't deny that. And messages do come every once in a while when necessary and when needed. But you start being overly fascinating with seeing number patterns. Like when you start being overly fascinating, then you lose your center. What does it help you to know, for example, that you see a lot of 1212 or 333? Does it help you mature spiritually? Does it make you a better partner? Does it make you a better parent? Does it help you heal your wounds and traumas or deal with your dysfunctional marriage? For most people, it's simply a distraction. But pop numerology is mainly there to entertain and not to help you grow. And this is really the heart of the matter. It's here to entertain and not help you grow. That's why it puts a lot of emphasis on such symbols. It is true that if you don't obsessively look for these messages and these number patterns, and then completely out of the blue, you didn't think about it, you were not expecting, you were not even, it was not even in the back of your mind, and then you bump into a number sequence that is deeply related to you, that is unmistakably sort of, um, just it's like, what are the chances that it would have appeared right now? Maybe then it's worth contemplating. But again, only so that you grow and become more aligned with yourself, with your soul, with your deeper wisdom, with your path, not as entertainment, not in order to make yourself feel special, which is again the focus of pop culture numerology. And this leads me to the fourth strategy of pop culture numerology, which will be the last one for this episode. So the last thing I'll say about pop numerology, pardon me, pop numerology has to do with giving quick fix answers to people. Like Don't be with this woman. She's not good for you. Don't be with this man. It won't work. It's bound to fail. He's not a good fit for you. Or I know if you move to house number 8, you will earn much more money than in your house number 4. Um, no, I promise you, my friends, this is just pure rubbish, like utter nonsense. I'm sure some of you don't like it that I say that. And it's okay. I get it. But I am myself and I stand for dharma, for truth before anything else. I want my audience and my students and my followers to grow up, to be infused with light and wisdom. I want to be truthful with you. I want you to grow, not to remain little kids fooling themselves. So there are no quick fixes in life. Anybody listening to this with enough life experience and honesty knows that there are no quick fixes in life. Life is hard and we have to work hard in this life for everything. I'm not saying that there are no outpourings of grace and support, and still we have to work for things. Be honest with yourself. Everything of value has to be earned. Wisdom needs to be cultivated. You don't just move to a house number 7 and suddenly become deep and wise. You can't say a certain relationship is bound to fail. You don't know, nobody knows. If there is love and willingness, people succeed to build amazing relationships that survive the hardest trials and tribulations and embody lasting love. So pop numerology, gives you quick answers like junk food. It feels good for a moment, but it makes you weaker in the long run. So now that I've covered those 4 strategies and really sort of laid out what, pop culture numerology looks like and what it does, I want to move on and speak about in-depth numerology and the strategies that it presents. But before I keep talking any further, if you are enjoying this podcast and you want to keep learning more in depth numerology, high quality, grounded numerology, make sure to click the follow or subscribe button and turn on the notifications bell on the platform you're listening from. And make sure to become part of my numerology community and support this work. This really means a lot to me. Also, make sure to follow me on Substack, where I write in depth content about numerology and Dharma intertwined. The link is in the podcast episode description. And lastly, make sure to check out the comment section. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think about what I'm sharing here today. Are you more a pop culture numerology person? Are you more an in depth numerology personality? What are your thoughts about what I'm saying? I always attempt to answer you guys, and I love a lively conversation. So, moving into in depth numerology, strategy number 1. So, the essential approach of in depth numerology is focusing on relevant information that clarifies to the person what their true potential, strengths, weaknesses, and core lessons are. Instead of placing focus on external factors like lucky days or lucky numbers, the focus is strongly on the individual's core qualities. By doing so, the in depth numerologist clarifies to the person what they are really made of, what they are meant to do with the structure they came with into this world, what strengths lay at their disposal, and what weaknesses or shadow sides they should work on. In other words, in depth numerology, first and foremost, focuses on bringing back the power to the person and empowering them to become aware of themselves so that they can activate their true power to be an active co creator in their life. There is very little to virtually no focus on notions like lucky numbers, lucky days, and the like, as they don't equip the person with any self knowledge, any strength, and the ability to access their inner resources. If you know that your strength lies in creative thinking, being innovative, and having great communication skills, while your shadow is tending to always try to do everything on your own, then you can actively work on yourself and improve your life. You gain freedom of choice and action, and you depend much less on external factors to dictate that for you. You don't need lucky days. You don't need lucky numbers because you know exactly what's moving you and what you are made of, and you act on that. Now we're moving on to strategy number 2 of in depth numerology. So, now another important aspect that in depth numerology develops in a person is a growing sense of self authority and personal responsibility. The arrow is always pointing at you. And by doing so, you get to know yourself so well that over time, you can develop self mastery. In other words, it makes you more independent, self reliant, and self sufficient. You stop abdicating your power and, as a result, putting the blame for your dysfunctions on a wrong house number, a bad cell phone number, or even your car's number plate. It sounds even silly when I say that, doesn't it? So you learn to understand yourself very intimately so that you can direct your energies in the best possible way and also become aware of when you are off. For example, if you know that you are a 1-3 combo in your sacred triad, you know that you are meant for self expression, that you are innovative, brimming with ideas, but that you are also tending to be selfish and need a lot of attention. So, by having access to this knowledge, you can both access your power consciously when needed and at the same time mitigate the effects of your shadow sides when when it comes to relationships with people who might feel that you don't care about or don't care enough about them. And this, my friends, is called self authority. It gives you true strength to work on yourself. Moving on to strategy number 3 of in depth numerology. So, when it comes to symbolic topics, such as angel numbers, numbers you see on your watch, etc., these are rarely discussed in in-depth numerology for the simple reason that, for the most part, they don't have any evolutionary benefit and they don't carry much meaning, if at all. In-depth numerology is all about your growth, your connection to the Dharma, your freedom, your growth in wisdom and love. As such, and in this context, ancient numbers are of very little significance. In other words, if it doesn't support your growth, it won't be spoken about. In truth, many people preoccupy themselves with the numbers they see on a regular basis as a way of once again giving their power away to things outside themselves. Moreover, if you're constantly searching for messages, well, quite honestly, you will simply find them, even if they are not there. You see what I'm saying? Whatever you want to find, you'll find. Now, in rare occasions, a number will suddenly appear to you out of the blue without you even thinking about angel numbers or trying to find them or constantly being sort of conscious of them. In such an instance, it may truly carry a message for you. In which case, in depth numerology will then look into it with depth and precision, and not with the tendency of the pop culture numerology to give generalized statements, right? That pop numerology says about number sequences. Like 333 means this, 1212 means that, sort of like fixed, as I said, quick fixed answers. No. In depth numerology will then take that message and it will have to be interpreted and understood in the context of your chart, your numbers, and also your life situation. And lastly, let's talk about the fourth strategy of in depth numerology. So, in depth numerology never provides flat yes or no answers. It, it is never black and white, because look at life. Life is not black and white. An in depth numerologist will never tell you you shouldn't be with that woman, you don't fit together, or this house number is blocking your ability to succeed financially. Instead, the in depth numerology will try to understand the complexity of the situation from various angles and to provide you with a holistic picture. In the context of relationships, in depth numerology will explore the potential strengths of the relationship as well as the pitfalls and help you make conscious, informed choices that are aligned with your free choice, free will, and that empower your wisdom and maturity. In the context of house numbers, etc., these are almost never relevant, but may be spoken about in passing in order to perhaps around the edges with a little bit of supporting elements. But that would be, no more than 5% of the answer. The core will always be focusing on the person's um focusing on the person and basically providing answers that unpack the full potential of any topic. It's all about leaving space for growth and free will. Shallow yes or no answers that are typical to pop culture numerology are keeping people childish and lacking agency. And in depth numerology is all about developing agency. Now, the four strategies I spoke about, I spoke of in the pop culture neurology section, and the four strategies I spoke about in the in-depth neurology part of this episode are sort of aligned with one another. So strategy one is aligned with strategy one of pop culture neurology is aligned with strategy one of in-depth neurology, and so on and so forth. So you can sort of compare those different strategies to one another. Now, I think that, one should choose very carefully what numerology knowledge they take in. It's just like food. Do you want to eat mostly junk food or quality food? Do you want to grow in wisdom and true strength, or do you want to remain childish and dependent forever? Pardon me. It's also about self-honesty. Do you want real answers that empower you, or just answers that please your ego but are in fact, well, untrue and lead you nowhere? In depth numerology is rare nowadays. Also because screamy and flashy, screamy and flashy figures on social media captures most people's attention more than true masters of the art. We tend to be captivated by loud voices, however empty, only because they are popular. But popularity or publicity never meant truth or quality or relevance or something that is helpful. Usually it's actually the opposite. You see, but the thing is, we can't blame social media or anybody else other than ourselves. We are the ones who created social media. We are the ones who give our attention to social media. We are the ones who choose flat information over in-depth information. It's us, and because of us, creators answer to our needs. They cater to us. You see, for the most part, people seek for shallow information. They don't want to take self-responsibility. They want quick fix answers. So creators say, hey, people want quick fix answers. I'm going to give them quick fix answers, even if they aren't true, because that's what they want. Right? Now, my purpose, for those of you who already know me, is really to revive in-depth numerology and bring it into people's awareness in order to foster wise, loving, dharmic, truthful, and mature human beings. You see, to me, that's the real purpose of numerology, and that's the real purpose of any spiritual science or art. That's my investment in my audience and on a much deeper level in my numerology students. So, as mentioned earlier in the beginning of this episode, I'm really delighted to give you, my dear ones, a 30% end of summer discount to both my self-study courses. And it'll run until next week, so for 7 days, until September 21st, 2025. And once you've purchased one or two of my courses, as many as you want, you get them for life. And you can always study them on your mobile devices, your tablet, your laptop, on the go, wherever you are. As long as you have a Wi-Fi, go ahead and do it at your own pace. So if you want a reliable way to get into numerology, start practicing and giving basic readings to friends and family, then you should definitely make use of this discount for both of my self-study courses. And by the way, they're not limited to a one-time purchase. So if you have a friend, you can buy it for, or a family member, you can buy it for them. There's no limit. Now, what these courses will teach you, well, first of all the fundamentals of numerology. Core numbers, core locations, cycles, pinnacles, challenges, numbers and gender, how to interpret a numerology chart, and much more. There's going to be number combinations. This is really an advanced part of numerology that is rarely taught anywhere else and will open up doorways for understanding yourself and others in ways that really no other book or course out there will do. This is, in fact, the only course out there about this topic and will up your game by a lot. And by the end of both courses, you'll be able to give impressive and detailed basic numerology readings. You're going to know yourself and those around you on a whole new level. And you will understand on a deep level what you're really here for. And again, remember, once you've purchased the courses, they are yours for life. So all you have to do is simply use the coupon code SUMMER 2025. All capital letters. SUMMER 2025, one word. SUMMER 2025, SUMMER 2025 upon checkout, and get a 30% discount for one or both courses. And the links to the courses are in the episode description. So make sure to get to access them and make use of this incredible discount. It happens maybe twice a year that I give such a discount. So go for it, my friends. And before I wrap this up, if you have enjoyed this podcast and you want to keep supporting this work and support in-depth numerology, then make sure to follow, subscribe, click the notifications bell, and make sure to become part of this numerology community and support this work. And remember to follow me on Substack, where I write about Dharma and numerology combined. The link, again, is in the episode description. Remember to leave me a comment. I would love to hear about your opinion about this episode. What do you think about what I just said? What do you think about in-depth numerology? What do you think about pop culture numerology? Am I missing something? I would love to hear from you, and I will answer you. And again, don't forget to check out my professional numerology readings, always a great way to experience numerology firsthand. And of course, check out the self-study numerology courses and the in-depth numerology certification studies if you want to acquire deeper mastery of numerology. My friends, I'm so happy to share with you this knowledge as always. I hope it gives you some food for thought. And as always, I'll see you in the next episodes. I hope you enjoyed this podcast. If you did, and you want to go deeper into numerology, check out my website, tom-eckert.com. You can also book a numerology reading or even study numerology yourself through my courses. I'll see you in the next episode.